A murder investigation is still ongoing. However, this noon, police are hoping to make progress with your help. Details still ahead.
A bill aimed at providing economic relief during the pandemic stopped in its tracks. Why the president still will not sign it.
We saw some very strong winds overnight, a little bit less in the way of wind today, and by tomorrow morning, we're going to see some chilly temperatures. We've got the latest Christmas forecast coming up.
Live from KSAT 12, the news at noon starts right now.
And new at noon, a San Antonio police officer who fired 2 shots toward juveniles running away from him was indefinitely suspended. That is according to disciplinary records obtained by KSAT.
According to those records, Officer Oscar Cruz Jr. went out to call in the 9500 block of Five Forks on March 9th. 2 teens were reportedly pulling on the vehicle's door handles. Now, records show Cruz chased after them and then ended up firing 2 shots at the suspects as they ran from him. Records also show Cruz was suspended from the department before. In that separate incident, he was accused of striking a pedestrian with his patrol car. One driver accused of causing 2 separate and deadly crashes on Southside Highway today. Both happened within minutes of each other overnight on Loop 410. As Katrina Weber reports, police say the driver at fault was heading the wrong way on the highway.
A move to avoid trouble on Loop 410 near Roosevelt ended up costing the driver of this car his life. San Antonio police say he ran into the back of an 18-wheeler after he swerved to avoid a wrong-way driver heading west in the eastbound lanes shortly before 3 this morning. His car became wedged under the big rig and he died at the scene. Before police could begin to investigate, they say the same wrong-way driver slammed into a pickup near Morrison, also killing that driver. The man who police say was at fault and his passengers suffered injuries. It took hours for police to process both scenes. As a result, the highway was shut down until well into the morning commute. The especially tough task, though, would come later as police had to notify 2 families on Christmas Eve that their loved ones wouldn't be coming home. The police are still investigating these crashes, but they say right now it looks like once that wrong-way driver's out of the hospital, he will be facing some serious charges, possibly including intoxication manslaughter. Reporting from Public Safety Headquarters, Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
New at noon, police releasing surveillance video in a murder investigation, hoping it can help lead them to information about a man's death. 27-year-old Bernard Terry, an Army veteran who was found shot and killed back on December 13th. This was in the 17,400 block of Judson Road. Now, pay close attention to your screen because police say they discovered this video during part of the investigation. It shows 2 vehicles leaving the scene at a high rate of speed. Police say one vehicle appeared to be a white or silver sedan with a loud exhaust system. The other vehicle was black or gray. Police tell us they want to locate these drivers. Officers say they found Terry inside a vehicle. His wife says he was only a minute away from their home. Police also trying to find the second suspect responsible for an aggravated robbery. Officers taking his belongings. It happened back on Sunday, October 18th, around 6 p.m. in the parking lot of a shopping mall back on at 281 in North Evans and Evans Road. Police tell us they have arrested one suspect in this case. If you have any information that can lead to an arrest on either of these investigations, you're asked to call Crime Stoppers at 210-224-STOP. You may be eligible for a cash reward. A shooting suspect is still on the run. This after police say a man was shot in the face on the city's southwest side. Officers were called to the 5300 block of Ghost Hawk Drive last night. Police say the suspect and victim were believed to be working on a music project inside a home. Officers tell us witnesses heard a gunshot from that home, but did not see the suspect. The victim was taken to a nearby hospital with life-threatening injuries. Police are still trying to piece together what happened, and they're still looking for that suspect. The number of coronavirus cases still on the rise here at home. The 7-day rolling average now showing we are seeing more than 1,200 cases a day. 8 new deaths were also reported yesterday, and health officials are urging you not to gather for the holidays. More COVID-19 patients are in our hospitals, 945 in total. 290 people are in intensive care, and 152 patients are on ventilators. President Trump has not signed the $900 billion COVID relief bill or the larger omnibus bill that would fund the federal government.
Now, millions of Americans suffering from the pandemic are in danger of losing crucial economic assistance. The president is holding out, demanding larger stimulus payments for the American people.
ABC's Avery Harper has the story for us.
Before departing for Florida, President Trump posting this threat in a video shot in the White House.
Send me a suitable bill, or else the next administration will have to deliver a COVID relief package.
The president calling for bigger direct payments to Americans, demanding $2,000 stimulus checks. Democrats have been demanding larger stimulus payments for months, but the president didn't weigh in until after both the House and Senate passed a carefully negotiated bill that capped stimulus payments at $600. Trump's Treasury Secretary even promised on CNBC that Americans would get those payments before year's end.
People are going to see this money the beginning of next week.
If the president doesn't sign the COVID-19 relief bill, long-term unemployment benefits for millions of people will expire. That includes supplemented state unemployment benefits and benefits for gig workers and independent contractors. Federal eviction protections will also disappear, putting Americans at risk of homelessness. House Democrats are blaming Republicans.
We'll be talking to the Speaker and to the members of the Democratic caucus to determine exactly how we want to move forward. We're not going to let the government shut down, nor are we going to let the American people down.
Americans are expressing their frustrations.
They're going to leave the Capitol with their jobs, with their benefits, with their health care, while the average American has to suffer.
On his way to Mar-a-Lago, President Trump also vetoed the National Defense Authorization Act, putting a raise and housing provisions for service members on hold. He objects to a provision in the bill that would strip the names of Confederate soldiers from U.S. military bases. Lawmakers passed that bill with enough votes to override the president's veto. And if they do that, it would be the first time that has happened in Trump's presidency. The COVID relief package is a part of a larger $2.3 trillion spending bill to fund the federal government. If President Trump doesn't sign the bill, the federal government could shut down late Monday. Avery Harper, ABC News, New York.
Still to come this half hour, the Spurs debuted their new look last night in a different couple of ways.
And just like in years past, NORAD is helping us track Santa, but how did the tradition start? We're going to take a look. Still ahead.
Have we got deals for you? Welcome to KSATdeals.com. I'm excited to share this next product that makes you feel and look your very best. The Amazing Face Serum that is a breakthrough formula. Now this helps to plump, lift, and firm your skin, and I hear it may be the secret that celebrities use as well. The Bee Venom 24 Karat Gold Serum. Now it's an organic alternative to Botox, proven to visibly reduce fine lines. It refines the skin surface and boosts moisture and long-lasting hydration. Helps to produce crucial skin hydration acids and oil for a radiant complexion. Now the caffeine in here helps to reduce the puffy eyes, which gives you that youthful glow. Now the retail price for this, $304. The KSAT Deals price, $29.95. That's a 90% discount. You can get this deal along with many others at KSATdeals.com.
On this Christmas Eve, thousands of free meals will be given out to families in our community. It's part of Mary Eats. The drive-through event is our latest KSAT community event, and 10,000 meals will be given out today. People can expect a turkey dinner complete with trimmings. The event is happening at Champion Soccer Complex at Old Spanish Trails Park. That's in the 3600 block of Fredericksburg Road. Those involved say it's important to them to give back to our community.
The pandemic has given a rise to a lot of need in the community, people who don't have food to eat, people who don't have the needs to feed themselves or their family. And as a result of it, the pandemic creates need, and in need, charity comes about, and that's why we came together today to help not only feed people, but just to show our sign of support that no matter how bad things are out there, there's still a community that cares and wants to give back.
And Mary Eats ends at 6 tonight. KSAT 12's own David Elder will even make an appearance. For more information, just head over to KSAT.com.
Outside with live cam, you know, it's getting bad when you can start to see the pollen on the plants and a little bit in the air, and the wind blowing it all over the place.
Well, you had to bring that up, David.
I'm sorry.
Oof. Well, we were going to cover it anyway, but that just makes it sound worse. The aquifer is down 0.2 of a foot to 662 even. And as David pointed out, mountain cedars here. We're starting to see these numbers go up. We had those strong northerly winds last night. Brought the count up to 7,480. Still in the high category, Mulder's low. We're tracking Santa today. Is Christmas Eve. We're going to have the latest on his whereabouts coming up.
It is Christmas Eve, and that means we are tracking Santa with the help of NORAD, a tradition that started due to a fluke. NORAD is the North American Aerospace Defense Command. It's been around since 1958. They actually started tracking Santa like decades ago, and it was all because of a misprint in a catalog.
So back in 1955, Colonel Shoup was out in Colorado Springs in Cheyenne Mountain. And if you remember back then, Sears and Roebuck was like the Amazon of today. So they had a big catalog. And in there, they had put a misprint to call the number of Santa and, hey, kids, you can talk to Santa. Well, that number just happened to be the operations desk there. They called, and it was a little girl asking, hey, I want to know where Santa is. How's Santa doing? And so that started the tradition. And ever since, we use our capabilities to tell little kids or adults who call in where Santa's at and where we expect him to go next.
All right, to keep up with Santa, NORAD uses the same technology used to track aircraft going in and out of the North American airspace, and you no longer have to call NORAD because we have Justin.
I know.
You just check in with him.
Justin.
He'll tell you where Santa is.
And he's been telling us that Santa's been busy all morning.
He has been very, very busy. Of course, working his way around the world. He'll be here in Texas and San Antonio later tonight. But at the moment, we have the latest courtesy of NORAD.
Look, there he is.
He's out over the ocean again. He's making his way towards the Seychelles. So it tells me he'll be there in about 2 minutes or so. Moving right along, right over the Indian Ocean. Weaving his way through all the continents and making good time, I might add, as he always does. So far, he's delivered over 2 billion gifts. Wow. So we'll keep track of him today. We'll let you know where he is through the day. Meteorologist Sarah Spivey will have more on his whereabouts coming up later this afternoon and this evening, too. So stay tuned. Last night was windy. We know that. Take a look at the wind gusts that we saw overnight. 46 miles per hour in San Antonio. We had gusts at 37 in Kerrville, 43 Bernie, 52 in New Braunfels. Very windy, still breezy out there, but not as strong. Those winds are not as strong as they were earlier. We'll see those winds continue to sort of relax as we get into tonight. That'll set the stage for some cold temperatures tomorrow. 50 right now. Northwesterly winds at about 15, gusting to 21 at this hour. Temperatures 48 Canyon Lake, 49 Comfort, 48 Tarpley, 47 in Bandera. Still cold enough where there's a little bit of a wind chill across the hill country. Not so much here in San Antonio anymore. But that north wind, again, it still makes it feel a little bit colder, especially if you're in Rock Springs Junction, where temperatures right now in the low to mid 40s, 52 right now in Cotulla. And the wind speeds, I'd say anywhere from 10 to 15 miles per hour. That's pretty much the average around the area right now, with a few gusts higher than that. Seeing some gusts to 20 in New Braunfels and Gonzales, still gusting to 23 right now in Victoria. That front came through yesterday evening. Made a huge difference in our forecast today. And the dew points, well, these are extremely low. When you start getting dew points at 4 and 7, that is extremely dry air. Remember, yesterday we had dew points in the 60s, so what a change. The air is going to be dry today and tomorrow before we start to see a rise in dew points over the weekend. And then by next week, we're talking dew points in the 60s. This is good because I think it will lead to some rain chances, some decent rain chances as we get into Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. So that's something we have to look forward to. In the meantime, perfectly clear skies here across the state. Those storms and that line of showers associated with the front now making its way towards the northeast. There's going to be some snow on the backside of this thing, so some folks are going to get a white Christmas, not here, but across the Great Lakes. And this is going to create some pretty wild weather, I think, tonight into tomorrow across the northeast. There could be some wind gusts over 50, 60 miles per hour there. So this is a very dynamic storm system. We just missed out on the rain. And you can see how it's setting up here with the water vapor. It shows everything pretty clearly. Got this big dip in the jet stream, a lot of energy moving off to the north and east. Another little system down here around California. That'll throw some clouds in our direction, but doesn't look like it's going to bring us any rain. it's a storm system behind that may give us our better chances for rain as we get into next week. Forecast for today, temperatures in the upper 50s. We'll still get some breezy winds, and then temperatures will fall off at a pretty quick rate tonight into the 30s eventually. Christmas morning, 31. Clear skies, light and variable winds here in San Antonio. A lot of spots will be down at freezing, if not a little bit below tomorrow morning. Perfect weather for Christmas morning. 65 tomorrow, 68 on Saturday, 75 Sunday. We may start off with some fog. And next week, we mentioned those rain chances. Right now, about a 40% chance of rain on Tuesday. We could even see some thunderstorms as we round out 2020.
All right, we need the rain, but at least for Christmas Day, we have nice weather.
It's beautiful.
Thanks, Justin.
Yep.
Hey, the Spurs get things started with a huge road win last night and more recognition for a UTSA star player. Coming up. The San Antonio Spurs tipped off the new season in their new Fiesta-themed City Edition uniforms last night in Memphis. First quarter, that's Keldon Johnson right there starting after missing all of training camp with that bad toe. Hits a three for the Spurs, first points of the season. But the Spurs ended up down by as many as 10 in the first quarter. Rudy Gay goes from deep. He cuts into that lead, though. It's 33-30 after one. We'll go to the second quarter. Here comes DeJounte on defense. Steals the ball from Dylan Brooks and finishes. Little lefty right there. Later on, it's Murray again driving, and watch him go high off the glass. That ended the 14-0 Spurs run, though. Helped give them a 13-point lead at the half, 66-53. Early third. Lonnie Walker, the fourth, explodes by the screen. Monster slam. 70-55 San Antonio. Later in the third, Lonnie with the pass pick and then throws it down with both hands. Woo-hoo. Grayson Nelson, look at him. He's just giving up. Like, yeah, that's nice. I like that. Spurs up 13 again. The lead, 99-88 going into the fourth. DeMar drives left, shoots right over the big guy for a banker. Count it. And how tough was the shots? Ooh. And rookie Devin Vassell joins the party. 3 ball for his first regular season points. How about that? The Spurs win at 131-119. 7 Spurs reach double figures led by DeMar and his 28.
We got better as the game went on. We had our ups and downs. Memphis made their runs, but we weathered the storm. And, we stayed together as a team, and we kept talking to each other, and we grinded it out.
We wanted to do whatever it takes to win, which was getting stops and pushing in transition. And, if it was in half court, get the mismatches or the right shots and, just be ready to drive and kick or get to the rim. And we all played aggressive. It was fun.
All right, Spurs get to enjoy Christmas at home. Their home opener until Saturday night, 7:30 against the Toronto Raptors, AT&T Center. No fans for that one yet. Just 2 days into the new season, though, the NBA had to postpone the Rockets and Thunder last night. That's because Houston didn't have the league-required 8 players available to get on the floor. Houston had 3 players test either positive or inconclusive for the virus, while 4 others are quarantined under contact tracing protocol. And star guard James Harden unavailable due to a violation of the health and safety protocols based on a recent video showing Harden attending a Christmas party at a gentleman's club without a mask. The NBA fined him $50,000 for violating those safety protocols. Not what UTSA needed heading into a bowl game. Head coach Jeff Traylor has tested positive for COVID-19 through weekly testing protocols. He found out yesterday afternoon he is not experiencing any symptoms. He says he's going to self-isolate and will continue to follow all guidance set forth by the university medical staff and state and local health officials. In the event he can't travel to Dallas with the team, associate head coach, offensive coordinator Barry Lunny Jr. will serve as acting head coach Saturday. And UTSA running back Sincere McCormick was named Dave Campbell's Texas College Player of the Year. He was chosen as the overall top collegiate player among the state's 12 FBS programs. He leads Conference USA with a school record 1,345 yards rushing. The guys are ready to play after nearly 4 weeks off.
We've been itching to play a bowl game for since last week, since the 19th, I think I believe it was. But as we come to preparation for the bowl game, it's a grind that we know we have to get back in focus. We know how we have to get back into the whole groove. Finally being able to play a team like Louisiana or Lafayette and be able to just showcase our talents on ABC.
The SERVPRO First Responder Bowl featuring UTSA live on KSAT 12 Saturday at 2:30. And we give our fingers crossed for Traylor. Hopefully he can make it. I mean, it's his first year as a head coach. He's going to miss the bowl game.
Oh, goodness.
Maybe so. See what happens.
All right. And day after Christmas, 2:30.
2:30.
Okay. And coming up, a San Antonio teen is helping other 6 children while battling a rare form of cancer. What's next for the young man as he prepares to take on the new year?
And of course, we're expecting to see an impact on the roads this holiday season. How many Americans are expected to travel to see loved ones? That's still coming up in the next half hour.
And new today at 5, you might be counting down the hours until Christmas, which just so happens to be the same day Pixar plans to release its new film, Soul. A San Antonio graduate spent years working on the new movie. We're going to speak with Mike Jones about his journey for this film and what his next project plans will be. That's today at 5 after Entertainment Tonight.
President Donald Trump pardoned more than 24 people this week. The list includes former campaign chairman Paul Manafort and Charles Kushner, the father of his son-in-law. The list from the last 2 days includes not only multiple people convicted in the investigation into the Trump campaign's ties to Russia, but also allies from Congress. Pardons are common in the final stretch of a president's tenure.
Africa's top public health official says another new variant of the coronavirus appears to have emerged in Nigeria, but further investigation is needed. The discovery could add to new alarm in the pandemic after similar variants were announced in recent days in Britain and South Africa and sparked the swift return of travel restrictions. The head of the Africa Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says this lineage is separate. The variant in South Africa now makes up most of the country's rapidly rising cases.
Israel is set to go into its third lockdown Sunday as coronavirus numbers continue to climb there. The government is describing it as a general closure. It'll last for 2 weeks or until the infection gets below 1,000 a day. The number of new cases has now exceeded 3,000 a day for several days. Under the new regulations, people will be required to remain within a half mile of their home unless they are going to do something essential. People will not be allowed to have guests stay over at their home unless they are immediate family members.
And typically this time of year is busy on the roads and in the sky. However, less people will be traveling due to the pandemic. And as ABC's Trevor Alt reports, millions of Americans are still expected to travel ahead of Christmas and New Year's.
We are expecting to see an impact on the roads this holiday season. AAA says it will likely be down about 25%, but that would still mean as many as 81 million Americans out there on the road, and 4 in 10 say they're going far enough to cross state lines. It's enough to have an impact everywhere, though some regions are going to have it a little bit worse than others. The Rocky Mountains had the highest percentage of people who say they're traveling at 40%. The Southwest, the Southeast, the Pacific all say they are not very far behind. The Midwest says they only have about 31% of people traveling, and the smallest percentage is in the Northeast at 27% of people, so only about 1 in 4 there in the Northeast. It depends on both the time of day and the specific day. Atlanta, Boston, and Houston are all expecting their peak traffic congestion on Saturday late in the afternoon, so that would be the day after Christmas. Washington, D.C. isn't expected to hit theirs until Monday morning at about 11:30, with then Los Angeles and New York in the 2 days that follow around 5 o'clock, the 29th and the 30th. Tuesday and Wednesday. But really in all the larger urban areas across the country, you could see traffic as long as 3 times longer than what you usually would. Having said that, there's still going to be about 27 million fewer Americans who are out traveling on the roads for the holiday, so you might be able to cruise through a little bit faster than you have in years past. Trevor Alt, ABC News, New York.
A storm that began with snow, strong winds, and bitter cold in the eastern Dakotas and western Minnesota has been moving east and has made travel even more difficult for some folks. Blizzard warnings were posted in the region as National Weather Service officials called for wind chills to dip to 35 below, pushed by gusts of more than 60 miles an hour. Numerous travel advisories urged drivers to stay off the roads. The storm was centered in southeastern Minnesota and was expected to track steadily toward Wisconsin and northern Michigan by Wednesday night. Flights were canceled at airports from Fargo, North Dakota to the Twin Cities.
And taking a look outside with a live cam, boy, we're lucky to live in San Antonio. Nothing like that over here. Just a nice shot of the tower and a nice 50 degrees.
That's what I'm saying. I'm a meteorologist, and I can't even wrap my head around 35 below. That would feel like wind chill. Pretty impressive. This storm system is going to cause more problems across the East Coast, may cause some travel delays. You know, it is nice to live here in Texas. We get a little taste of the cold, but it's really only going to last about a day or two because we'll get back into some warmer readings early next week, actually over the weekend. 50 degrees right now, 47 San Angelo, 44 Amarillo, 45 Lubbock, 45 in Dallas. It's chilly across the state, not bitterly cold, but chilly, and we've still got that northerly wind, so it makes it feel a little bit colder out there. 49 Canyon Lake, 50 Comfort, 48 Kerrville, 48 Tarpley, 52 down there in Pleasanton. Everybody's looking at clear skies. We'll get those temperatures into the upper 50s this afternoon, and then once the sun goes down, the numbers will tumble and winds will become light overnight. If you're looking for rain chances, none today or really over the next few days, but as we get into next week, we have some hope for some showers and maybe even some thunderstorms as we get into Tuesday. We're going to talk more about that forecast coming up in just a bit. Guys.
All right, Justin. He's only 18 years old and battling a rare form of cancer. We've been following Noah Adams' story since October, a story of inspiration and strength. Our Myra Arthur catches up with Noah and his mom as they prepare to take on the new year.
Noah Adams is a funny guy.
Sometimes I'll just sit there and be like, my leg's shorter.
It's his sense of humor that has gotten him through a tough year.
July 30th was when they told us I had cancer.
Noah was diagnosed with Ewing sarcoma, a rare type of cancer that happens in bones or in the soft tissue around the bones. Noah began feeling some discomfort in his leg late last year.
I thought I pulled my hamstring, but now I know it was a tumor that was just in the way that I agitated.
He remembers the moment he got the diagnosis.
My heart dropped and I was terrified and I was anxious and all this, and then 2 seconds later it just all went away and I was like, all right, well, let's beat it.
His mother, Debbie Harper, was sitting right next to him.
I just started crying. I mean, it's just, you don't expect that.
Noah has gone through months of chemotherapy. 2 months ago, doctors performed a rotation-plasty. The procedure turns an ankle into a knee.
Whenever I feel like I straighten my knee, these muscles will align with these and then it will straighten. So it will feel like a knee again.
The goal is to remove the cancer, but still preserve mobility.
Of course, it's a backwards foot, and it's funny to look at, but with the prosthetic, I'll be able to, have no limits, and I'll be able to work out, I'll be able to, run, I'll be able to go on a hike if I want to.
A life with no limits. He's already practicing how to drive with his left foot.
How does it feel?
Annoying.
Annoying?
Yeah, there's something in the way. Trying to push the pedal, but I can't.
Getting the surgery was an easy decision for Noah, but difficult for his mom to see.
When I first saw his amputation, that was hard. I broke down for a good 5-10 minutes. And that was hard.
Noah still has 6 more months of chemo. He'll eventually get his prosthetic and learn to walk on his new leg. For now, he gets around by hopping.
I'm glad he was stronger than I was to make this decision.
He's missed a lot of his senior year at Central Catholic High School, but he's excited to walk across the stage in the spring. He's also been accepted to his first school of choice, the University of Pittsburgh.
Everything's just falling into place.
And if there is a silver lining to this difficult journey, it's the stronger bond this mother and son have built.
I just can't wait to see what he does, because he is a huge inspiration to a lot of different people. He's an inspiration to myself, to his dad, to everybody in the family.
Myra Arthur, KSAT 12 News.
Noah is currently in the hospital undergoing chemo. He did something pretty awesome for kids just like him. He collected more than 1,200 toys for pediatric patients to open on Christmas Day. If you'd like to follow Noah's journey, you can head to our website at ksat.com.
Hey, if you are looking for a little more action in your action movie, Wonder Woman is back. Preview later up in the show.
And for some businesses, business is booming amid the pandemic. What's boosting their bottom line after the break?
This is your Daily Tech and Business Briefing from Cheddar. Square is reportedly in talks to acquire music streaming service Tidal. According to Bloomberg, the digital payments company run by Jack Dorsey is looking to strike a deal with the owner of Tidal, music mogul Jay-Z. Representatives from Square and Tidal have not commented on the report. And remote learning is paying off for e-learning company Chegg. The CEO of the company is saying its revenue leading up to September has surpassed its sales the same time a year ago, and says he predicts this trend will continue into next year. Chegg has about 3.9 million subscribers on its platform. And startup company Nuro is getting a boost from the state of California. The automaker getting the green light from lawmakers to start operating its commercial driverless vehicles, making Nuro the state's first autonomous vehicle maker to acquire a permit. Nuro saying it'll begin rolling out its cars soon in order to make deliveries. And that's your Cheddar Business and Tech Update. I'm Kristen Scholler from the New York Stock Exchange.
ABC's Will Gans often checks in with kid correspondents in his Kids News Now segment.
He caught up with some of our favorite tiny truth tellers to talk all things Santa, snow, and sardines.
And action!
If there were no rules and you could ask for anything in the world, is there anything you would ask for?
Well, I'm pretty sure I'm not gonna get this,
That's all right.
but all the candy in the world.
All the candy in the world.
If I want anything in the world, it would be a walrus.
A walrus? Okay, why a walrus, Amir?
Well, because then I can just ride it and go underwater and explore and get as much salmon as I want, or sardines.
Are you a big salmon and sardines fan?
Yes, I especially like sardines, but the small ones because I like the back of them. If I could have one thing in the world, it would be a nice, good, heartwarming, old-fashioned book.
Wow.
Besides that, a coronavirus vaccine, because that would be very nice. We could sit together by the fire. You can't look at it. And we could, Heather, get out! We could drink hot cocoa. And give them a nice big hug. My parents aren't here anymore, so I can tell you the present.
Okay,
what is it? It's a paper snowflake. I've been working very hard on them, and I'm finally done.
Allison, favorite holiday song? Go.
Cuatro candelitas, cinco candelitas, seis candelitas. My favorite song is "Oh Christmas Tree" and "Santa Claus is Coming to Town" rock version.
Bruce Springsteen, I think, is the one who sings that. It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Santa Claus. Did you just touch the elf on the shelf?
I didn't. Amir
No,
might.
I was talking to Amir.
He might be getting a different elf, I hope. Oh my gosh. The elf on the shelf came to life.
Santa's Claus. Happy holidays!
What a great group of correspondents.
Wow, that's pretty funny.
I especially love Allison, who was being so sweet, and then, Heather, close the door.
Get out. Funny stuff.
We've seen some reporters do that. Hey, get out of my shot.
You know, this year, listen, it happens, especially on those Zoom calls. Outside right now, we got 50 degrees. 36 was the low this morning. Got pretty chilly. Had wind chills in the 20s earlier with those gusty winds. We'll be a little bit below average today. The records are 83 and 15. We'll not get anywhere near those. Those were set back in 1964, 1983. There is some rain in the forecast, though. We'll look ahead to the weekend and beyond coming up.
This SA Salutes holiday greeting is brought to you by Texas Med Clinic.
Hi, we're Texas Med Clinic Swab Crew. We'd just like to say a happy holidays and thank you to all our first responders for helping us get through COVID. And at Texas Med Clinic, we like to say we like to treat you well. So happy holidays and
Texas Med Clinic,
we like
treat you well.
Hi, are you excited?
The wind. I'm done with the wind. All right?
Oh, yeah, you're done with the wind. But that was terrifying last night. Just, inflatables going all over the place. And
Yeah, let's hope Frosty didn't blow down the street. I
think he did.
May have in a few cases. We thought we'd see some gusts up around 45 miles per hour or so. We got a little bit higher than that. 46 was the official wind gust here in San Antonio. Wow. Winds have calmed, though.
Good.
And so we're clearing the way for Santa to fly right in. We've got good weather for him. We've been tracking Santa all morning. Where is he now, according to NORAD? He's headed to Tanzania, so he's working its way into Africa now. He'll work his way across Africa, then to Europe, and then eventually over to North America, Texas, and San Antonio. That'll be later tonight. But he's delivering a lot of gifts as we speak. Over 2 billion gifts delivered so far. And he's working quickly. We're tracking him through the day. You can also follow it on our website, KSAT.com. There you go. There's the latest on Santa. You know what? On our wish list this Christmas, some rain. Look at the drought monitor across the state of Texas. Something like 80% of the state now in drought. And here around San Antonio and South Texas, much of us in an extreme drought. This red color here represents an extreme drought, and it's been just a very dry year, and we could use some rain. I think we've got a good shot as we get into next week, at least a decent chance of some showers and storms. Areas to the south and east doing a little bit better, but again, most of us dealing with the drought conditions, and we always like to check in on Medina Lake. It's at 42% full, still down 31 feet. It continues to fall. Each and every week we check in on it. Outside right now, 50 degrees at the airport, 51 Kelly, 50 at Randolph, still 49 over there at Stinson. A north-northwesterly wind, anywhere from 5 to 15 miles per hour. The trend is for that number to continue to come down. We'll see lighter winds as we get into this evening, and definitely as we go into tonight. 46 Bernie Stage, 50 Canyon Lake, 52 New Braunfels, 49 right now in Tarpley. So there still is a little bit of a wind chill up across the hill country. 47 Fredericksburg, 52 down there in Cotulla, and the wind gusts, they're still up there around 20, 21 miles per hour. So there's still going to be a few gusts up around that 20 mile per hour mark. But I think as we get towards the dinner time hours, these numbers will really start to come down. Wind chill, I mentioned it's still there. Feels like 44 in Kerrville, 41 in Rock Springs. Not dealing with much of one here in San Antonio. And the dew points are about as low as they get here in South Texas. Yesterday we had dew points in the 60s. Now we've got dew points in the single digits. Dew point is 3 in Kerrville. That is very, very dry air. Look at the 24-hour temperature, or dew point change, I should say. Down 50 degrees, the dew point. So we went from having very humid conditions to extremely dry conditions. The dew point will eventually come back up, but it'll take until the weekend before you feel any humidity. And really, it'll be next week. That's when we could start to see a little bit of rainfall. Nothing across Texas right now. We've got a big trough, though, that is creating a lot of wintry weather up across Great Lakes. You saw some of the blizzard conditions earlier, and there is some cold air associated with this. -7 in the nation's icebox, International Falls. 4 in Minneapolis, 15 right now in Chicago, and wind chills are even colder than that. So there is some cold air there. We're feeling a little bit of it today here in South Texas. 57 to 58, our high temperature, and then falling down into the 40s and eventually 30s tonight. Christmas morning, we're thinking 31. There could be a few thin high clouds, but I think for the most part it'll be mostly clear, light and variable winds, and that's why temperatures will be as cold as they are. A lot of places down to freezing tomorrow morning. 65 on your Christmas day. Should be a gorgeous day to test out all those toys. 68 Saturday, 75 Sunday. And then, as we mentioned, some rain chances. 40% chance of some showers and storms on Tuesday, guys.
Bikes, skateboards, skates, all that stuff out in the streets. So be careful tomorrow morning.
Test it out tomorrow.
That's right. Yeah, good stuff.
An iconic superhero is back on the big screen. However, this time you don't actually have to go to a theater to see Wonder Woman in action. Details after the break.
Wonder Woman is back. She's on the big screen and the streaming screen simultaneously this Friday.
CNN's Rick Donangelo talked with the cast of Wonder Woman 1984.
Welcome to the future. Welcome back to the 80s in Wonder Woman 1984. The movie experienced multiple release date changes even before the pandemic.
I'm so excited and I'm so happy that we finally get to share the movie with the world. The movie's been ready for quite some time to be shared. And now that it's actually happening, it's a weird feeling.
I don't want to be like anyone. I want to be an apex predator.
Kristen Wiig goes from being a fan to being a co-star.
To say it's like a dream come true is an understatement. I love superhero movies and I see all of them in the theater, and I watch them like I did the first one, just like, oh my God, I wish I could be in a movie like this. So the fact that it happened and that it's this movie with these people, I'm like pinching myself.
Well, aren't you resourceful? The Mandalorian star Pedro Pascal plays a more down-to-earth villain.
There is where the potential of impact, I think, is that we can see ourselves, that we can kind of reflect, or that the character reflects something that is ultimately, you know, very human in all of us.
Barbara, what did you do?
In Hollywood, I'm Rick Damigella.
A new Christmas movie debuts tomorrow, and it features a first for Pixar. The movie Soul features the first Black lead character in a Pixar film. That character is voiced by Jamie Foxx, who says with the social justice movement this year, it couldn't come at a better time.
This is something that we could all come together and take steps towards healing, put some smiles on people's faces.
Soul debuts on Disney Plus tomorrow, Christmas Day.